It's well known that it's very tough to get into MSI as a member, and there's a very strong selection process. And of course, you're the CEO of the organisation. I was wondering if you could tell me a little bit about what firms have to do to join the association.
Yeah, well, we get a large number of applications each year. We reject quite a lot of applications really right at the first hurdle. But it's a fairly sort of detailed process that we go through, which involves a number of questionnaires of increasing length, if you like, to find out a little bit more about each firm. We then go through a process of telephone interviewing from London to the other side of the world, where I'm trying to get much more of a feel for the real strengths of a particular firm, and how it might be able to contribute towards MSI, and how our MSI firms may be able to benefit from that firm actually joining. Once I'm absolutely happy about that process, invariably, it slightly depends on the country, I would look at some sort of peer reference as well. You know, it might be another MSI firm who's perhaps operating broadly within the same jurisdiction, who's actually able to provide some appropriate advice on that firm as well, some more local knowledge. And then at that stage, I would then go and do a visit to the particular firm and spend a day with the firm to really get a proper feel for it and to see whether it can genuinely contribute towards MSI.
And if you're happy at that point, what are the next steps in terms of that firm subsequently joining?
The next stage would be that if I'm happy, I would then come back, I would then report that to the board. The MSI board will then sort of determine whether it's appropriate for that particular firm to join. There are certain criteria that we look at, criteria such as exclusivity, to make sure that there is no one being sort of challenged, if you like, there's no competition to one of our existing members. And then once the board is happy, I would then inform that firm, and actually we can then get the firm up onto MSI, within a matter of a few weeks. But there would be a fairly detailed induction process in order to inform them about what MSI is all about, how they can maximise the benefit of being a member of MSI, what the real business opportunities are, how they can interact with the Secretariat in London, but most importantly how they can interact with other MSI members. And that whole induction process may take 2 or 3 weeks or so. A whole series of processes. We'll then put out a press release so that all our members know about the firm, the new firm joining, and then very soon after they've joined, we would hope they'd come to one of our conferences and they can actually meet people face to face.
You mentioned the conferences there. We're of course now in Singapore, Asia Pacific regional meeting, but also with the Australia New Zealand membership group present as well. How important are those meetings to the whole concept of MSI?
The meetings are absolutely critical, because it's all very well being a member and being in a directory, and for people to look up a directory. And that can work to a certain extent. But business really only is developed if you build up a personal relationship. And a personal relationship can start at a conference, and it can be developed at subsequent conferences, where actually people are able to build up an element of trust, build up a sort of an affinity with that other organisation, with that other firm, and really understand how that firm may be able to interact with your own clients and actually assist your own clients. So I think the conferences are absolutely critical from that aspect. I think the conferences are also important because there's an element of knowledge sharing in a non-competitive environment, that actually you can share problems, challenges, ideas with fellow delegates and other firms. And I think that's particularly important where one is perhaps operating out of your area. So in the case of this particular conference here in Singapore, we've not only got members from Australia and New Zealand, all of whom know each other pretty well, but there's a great opportunity to interact right the way across Asia Pacific here in Singapore, and get to know the business opportunities elsewhere, whether it be in China, whether it be in Japan, whether it be in fact in India as well.